the Ministry of years has taken a hugely active role in trying to end child marriages. I know in the rural areas where some activities have happened where marriages have actually been broken forcibly. But then that is not, those are just headline issues. The problem still remains.
Yes.
For example, I'm giving the example of my constituency in Ichiratsu. There isn't anything happening to let our girls know that getting married early is not the right thing.
Wow.
And when I talk about it, you know, they just say, well, he's a politician is supposed to say certain things. So I would say that Parliament has done its part. It has passed the laws protecting all the girls. It has also, you know, assented to certain protocols in the region and internationally. So Parliament, we have done our part.
All right.
But now, nationally, we should now reinforce the laws.
Nationally, we need to reinforce the laws.
Yes.
Now we are talking of the policy, the implementation. Tukamba ndithu nkhani imene ili ofunikira kwambiri imene ayiyambitsa ndithuko MP akuchiradzulu amene ali Dr. Matthews Ngwale akukamba nkhani yokuti tikuyenera ndithu kuti tizikhazikitse ndithu zimenezi chifukwa kudera kwawo komaka kudera kwawo akuti ana achichepere ndithu ali ndi ana anzawo akamabwera kuti kunsonkhano iwo ngati Parliament nyumba ya malamulo yanena ndithu yakhazikitsa ndithu malamulo koma nukumudziko kuli zotani funso ili limene lifuna kubwera pano ndenera kwa inu afumu inu ndi afumu amene mumakhala kwambirinso ndi wanthu tifotokozereni kuti mukutani kuchita kwake chifukwa awa ndi mavuto amene pafupifupi aliyense akuafotokoza mimba za achichepere tikukamba nkhani za atsikana achichepere kulowa m'banja mukutani kwanuko zikomo kwambiri.
Zikomo kwambiri. Munga ine senior chief bwana Nyambe zomwe tikuchita kudera lathu zonena kuti ana akamalowa m'banja tikavesedwa kuti mwana wakuti akulowa m'banja
kwezani mawu anthu angatenge bodza ku
awo chabwino. Munga ine senior chief bwana Nyambe nzoti ndikamvesedwa kuti mwana wa skulu akulowa m'banja ndimayitana makolo a mwanayo komanso mozera mwa mfumu amozi umene wowo timalembera kalata ndi makolo ake komanso ndi kumene akufuna akwatiwe mtsikanayo akuchimuna timayitana timayimba milandu walekanisa banja lija kuti asakwatire mwana abwere ku skulu ndipo zimatheka ndithu mwana uja kubwereranso ku skulu komanso timathaso kumva kuti kwakuti mwina maskulu mwina ma headmaster amene amakonda ana amatha kuti pazaso tengolena kuti pakali pano kunena pano nsikana wakuti walemba maiso 8 kwa pakali pano akupanga ukwati kuti alowe m'banja timalumikizana ndi apolisi amene timauza kuti mwina athamangire kumene koko akathe kuyimisa ukwatiwo kuti mwana adikirire maiso atuluke abwerere ku skulu fuchona kuti ine munga kwathuko tindi bungwe la bwana Nyambe Education Fund lomwe tili nalo lothandizana amene akuvutika kusowa fees ndiye bungwe limene limene magwira nalo ntchito poona kuti kumadera kwathu kuno za anawa olowa m'banja tiwathandize bwanji ndiye timagwira ntchito imene iyi komanso tili ndi apolisi momwemo tili ndi mashehe mabusa komanso muli mother group tili nawo so apeya momwemo adisi akumangoji athu nawonso anatijoyina kuti azitilimbikitsa zinasangalatsa tamva program imene yoyo ndiye timathandizana ndithu kuti ana athu maphunziro awo apitirire moti panopa ana ena amene tinawachotsa ku banja akukalowa banja ndi anthu akujoniwa kutomera kuti tikabwera ndi kukwatira antsikana moti atatu onse panopa ena asankhidwa apita kuma national amene anati ndithu banja ndithu kugwirizana kuchinkhoso bwinobwino tinachosa mavuto ngati amene wo poona kuti anawo tikasirira tazilowa mabanja choncho komanso ndi anaona kuti mwina kusogolo kuno ndi amene azakhale anthu odalirika pa dziko la Malawi lino. Ndiye kana ntchito imeneyi kwathu kumangochi kugwirika ndithu moti chaka chinocho ana asankhidwa dera la kwathu opita ma national ndi ana 8. Komanso ana amene asankhidwa opita ku Mangochi Secondary School kuli Sungwi pamodzi alipo ndi ana ku national aja ana 40. Osewo chifukwa choti timayendera timakhala tikupangisa misonkhano mozithandiza tokha. Timayenda m'madera monse, timayenda dera lonse kupangisa misonkhano ndi makolo komanso ndi mafumu kwaunikira ubwino wa sukulu kuti mwana angakumane ndi zotani akalowa msanga mbanja. Moti ana ambiri nthawi mu 2021 nthawi ya COVID ana ambiri anaonongeka ena ziwalo mwina kulumala kumene chifukwa choti ana wanali ang'ono amabereka adakali ang'ono. Ndiye nkhani ngati imene timaoneka kuti asiyeni anawa ndithu makolo mwana asiyeni aphunzire chifukwa akaphunzira mwanayo ndiye kuti inunso pakhompani mwatani mwaphunzira. Chifukwa kuti anaja amabereka adali ang'ono komanso pakhomo umphawi kupitabe pasogolo sukubwerera mbuyo. Chifukwa pali makolo ena amati ine ndino ovutika kwambiri sindingathe kumuthandiza mwana wangayu. Ndiye timawunikiranso kuti ndiye mukateronso mukuonjezeranso mavuto ena akulu. Choti oposa mwana mumulimbikisa aphunzire zikavutisisa tikuthandizirani ndipo timathandizira kuzeranso mwa MP athu ndalama zija mathandizirana za CDF ngakhale zikuchepa ifeno kuti anawo timene tikulimbikisa choncho anaja kumapezeka kuti alipo ambiri. Moti chaka chatha moti pamene ndi ngongole imene amati kwenya m'masukulu foti anawo tinawo ambiri. Moti pano kupempha chithandizo kwa district tipanga mutithandize moti pano pakutimva miyando m'masukulu kuti ndalama perekani ku sukulu ana chaka chatha ija simunamalize kulipira foti anaja ambiri akumachita bwino komanso akumakhozana ambiri amene amasankhidwa. Ndiye tikapanga choncho tikagwira ntchito imene yabwino ija kupezekaso tikumakhala mavuto. Ntchito yabwino ikumasandukanso yotani yoyipa. Anaja tikabwezeranso sukulu tibwererani anaja mwina akakhoza mayeso aja kumaona ndiye kuti kukhomwanga daily kumakhala anthu odi makalata atenga m'manja amene apasa mahedi awo kuti pitani kwa atiyenda amene angakuthandizeni. Ndiye ife timazeranso kupita kwa MP kwapempha chithandizo kena kwa matiya kwina kupanga ndino mafumu. Ndiye bungwe lathulo tinakhazikitsa kuti mafumu anga komanso kuzera ndi ma DC chair ndi anthu amene atchula osaja apeya a DC timasonkha ndalama imene timasonkha group ndi 3000. Ndiye kuti village amapereka 2000. Ndalama imene yoyo ndimene timalipirana koma imakhala kuti ndithumba laling'ono kwa basi. Mwina timabwera kusonkha kuja timabwera 300 400,000 ndiye kuti ngongoleso tikukhala zambirimbiri. Foti ndalama je imakhala yochepa kwa basi. Ana amakhala ambiri amene akusankhidwa. Moti mwina chaka chinonso ngati chaka chatha munapati kumangochi tinali pa nambala 1 dera lake ndi la ineyo. Chaka chinonso
zikomo kwambiri.
Chaka chinonso tikuyembekezaso chimozimozi kuti chaka chinonso tilinso pachani pa nambala 1 koma mavuto tikukumana nawo akulu. Fochona kuti thumba lathu ndilochepa kwambiri. Ndi anthu akumuzi ndiye tithandizeni ndithu.
Chabwino zikomo kwambiri ndi amfumu ameneyo timayenera ndithu talole kuti ayakhuleza kukhosi kuyankhula ndithu kufotokoza zomwe iwo akuchita what they are doing in their communities and what they want the government and other stakeholders to do to help out in ensuring that our girls remain in school. Zikomo kwambiri gogo tathokoza. So there was a mention of also working with NGOs, they are working with other stakeholders. Now, Dr. Kamrongera, you are representing the CSOs. I just wanted to find out from that side where you are, what are the key gaps in the current age appropriate comprehensive sexuality education landscape? Here we would want to understand where the gap is and how you would want it to be bridged. Briefly.
Thank you. I think from a technical perspective, I would say that life skills, for instance, is an elective course at secondary level.
Okay.
It's required at primary, but at secondary, it's not mandatory. Which means that you have a few boys and girls that will take the course, and then others that will opt out and miss out on the information that they need, number one.
Okay.
So if it was made mandatory, I think would go a long ways in ensuring that we get to see some of that information going to those that need that information. However, another issue, I think great issue of concern, I was smiling when Prof was talking about funding issues. When you talk, the MP spoke about nothing getting done on the ground.
On the ground, yes.
And I think a lot of times implementation gets to be hard, not because they're not programs that are available, but rather because funding is not available.
Sure.
And funding is not only going toward I know that a lot of us are talking about the human capital development issue here. However, if you've heard from the young lady, she spoke about engagement. Our chief also spoke about engagement. And my colleague on my right here also spoke about engagement, all of which is the key enabler of mindset change.
Okay.
All of that also requiring funding. So I would say that there are the technical aspects dealing with access to that information, but also engagement in terms of boys and girls not accessing that information, not taking part because they feel like she alluded to, if I go, or life skills, sometimes sex education is seen as kumupunzita mwana nkalidwe oyipa, and not necessarily providing the information that that young person needs to make solid life choices. Thank you.
Interesting. You've just mentioned something there very interesting that is now going straight to the religious leader here. They're talking of, when we're talking about sexuality education, out there, one would say, "Mwaphuzitsa zoyipa." In fact, you're motivating them to go and have sex. The same, let's talk of the religious leaders out there. This is a message that in the churches is a taboo, to talk about sexuality education to the young girls and boys out there, and again, even to talk of contraceptives. How are you doing it? What's your role? We really want to understand what you are doing to make sure that our young girls, our young women, are not becoming wives at a tender age.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chimwemwe Bujaliwa. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. As faith community, specifically from the Christian point of view, we believe in empowering people through knowledge. Knowledge is power. So when one is empowered with knowledge, they can go out there and defend their rights. So we believe in teaching our young people, both boys and girls, on sexual purity. That's number one. Sexual purity. I know.
Sexual purity.
Yes, they must maintain their sexual purity. They must wait for marriage for them to be sexually active. I know it is difficult, and we've had those cases where you have a young girl is pregnant or a young boy has impregnated a girl. So we have different programs in different churches or faith institutions where we have rescued girls from early marriage. We have rescued even boys from early marriage. And sometimes because we focus on a girl child only, but in faith community we do both, boy and girl, because I mean this is something that we must look at from maybe these years, because focusing much on a girl child, we have promoted, or in another way we have promoted gender-based violence, because a boy feels is left behind. talking of issues of contraceptives,
Yes.
it is very contentious because these are matters of faith, these are matters of doctrine, these are matters of personal conviction, these are matters of conscience. So like I said earlier on, from the Christian point of view, we advocate for sexual purity. We train or we teach people in different forums. Sometimes it is difficult indeed, or maybe it is not that common to hear someone preaching from the pulpit on sex education. But we have forums. We have mentorship programs with girls, mentorship programs with boys, where we articulate these issues. We ask them to question us, and we also help them in a way possible.
You are open enough to respond to that.
Very much so, yes. We want them, our young girls, to grow up as a good nation that will live a very good moral life. Yeah, so we advocate for sexual purity from the Christian faith.
Sexual purity. That's what they advocate now from the Christian faith. But still, sex activities are happening. Yeah? Sex activities are happening. My fellow youth here, I hope you would want to add more before I go to the audience on that.
On issues to do with sexual reproductive healthy rights, I just feel like the government should adopt the Education Initiative Plus, which tackles more about, it's more of comprehensive sexual education, which can be taught in maybe secondary schools, depending on the ages that are there.
Okay.
Because you can say that I'll go to a 10-year-old and teach them about sexual reproductive healthy rights. That's like about it. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's more about, I just feel like the government, more especially the Minister of Education, should adopt the Education Initiative Plus, which would advocate like in the secondary schools, so that the young people can learn more about their reproductive health rights and whatever they have going. Also, I also
beautiful.
wanted to add on sensitization through the parents regarding the issues to do with sexual reproduction. To maybe the parents can be champions on issues to do with sexual reproductive rights, on regarding to teaching their children, because most parents hide this information from their children. Like she said, it's mukutila ula, or like how Professor said that but people need to adopt. If we want to change, it needs to start from our households. If we want to change, it needs to start from our schools, and even in the inner self, from the information that you've gathered from your parents, maybe also at school, if the government is to adopt the Education Initiative Plus. And also, I just feel like in an issue to do with early marriages, socio-economic transformation needs to be done, socio-economic empowerment needs to be done in different households. Because you'd find that someone is being pushed to get married. Like, let's use an example of Rose. Because maybe they had some economic issues going on, so they had to receive the ngombe and then just push her away. But then if they were if households are socio-economically empowered, I don't think we can still be talking about issues on early marriages.
All right.
Yes, thank you very much.
Beautiful, thank you very much. In your response, you talked about the Minister of Education to incorporate sexuality education in the curriculum, of which there is also a question for you. Do we have a PS for education around? May I have the microphone? A question to the Ministry of Education, or any representative from Ministry of Education? Okay. There is a representative. Thank you so much, Minister. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Yes, there is a question here as to what will take the Minister of Education? What will take the Minister of Education to incorporate a comprehensive sexuality in our curriculum?
Thank you very much, Chimwemwe, and thank you very much, Honorable, our guest of honor. My name is Maureen Maguza Tembo from the Ministry of Education. From the Ministry of Education, as indicated by one of the panelists, that we offer life skills subject through the curriculum in the ministry. Actually, life skills in the ministry, we start in very lower classes, like standard 2. They all learn, but it's age specific. So what we advocate is that when we are including issues in the curriculum, we make sure that we also are in line with our cultural beliefs, as well as the age of the children that we are teaching. But maybe in secondary school, the challenge could be the issue of selection of the subjects, which ones to take and which ones not to take. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. At least you're talking about having life skills education. That is there. You agree with it? That is there.
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much from the ministry. That was a question for you. And there's also another question that would want to go to Inkosi Maulao. Do we have Inkosi Maulao? Yes. The question here for you is you are a community leader. You have the community with you there, and the girls are there. What are you doing in empowering our girls, our young women out there, to have decisions that matter to their life?
Thank you very much, Chimwemwe. In my area, I wish all the chiefs were doing the way I'm doing to promote the girl child.
Okay.
Let me start with the project we are doing in my area. Some of you have been in social media. There was a clip which was circulating about the chief advocating for the for education. I know most of you have seen the clip. Why I'm saying this? I'm a chief. I'm a commercial farmer. I'm a trader. From my pocket, my own pocket, I pay 7 of girl child education at Mzimba Secondary School. We are running a project. My wife is a teacher, a primary school teacher, and we are running a project. And we have seen fruits from the project we are incurring with my wife. Being a primary teacher, usually when she teaches standard 7, she takes pupils from standard 7 to go to standard 8, then off they go. Okay. Why I do support my wife being a primary teacher as a role model, since we come from the village. Most of the time she goes around in primary school advocating with young girls that they should continue education. And one of the things, if you go in primary schools in my area, if you ask the girl child, she say, I want to be like Mama Ngosi, meaning my wife, as a role model.
Thank you very much.
So with that, we have also established you have heard of Friends of Mawa. We have been doing a lot of development issues in my area. But one of the issues that we're targeting nowadays is a girl child education. So now we have we have retained girls from marriages, I think 50 of them, and I can tell this house that one of the girls that was withdrawn from the marriages, she's now at Rwanda. So I was also managed to find a donor, a sponsor. She's not even on a loan board, but I've identified someone to be paying for her fees, upkeep and accommodation for the girl to continue education. So usually, in my area, when girls have gone to the university, we usually identify the donor or a well-wisher so that those girls should continue education. One of them is at Mzuzu Central Hospital as a physiotherapist, one of the candidates. And now, since now she's a physiotherapist, now we have also identified another girl from primary school which she is going to support. So
interesting.
That's the model. If you go to education, you need to get one or as a beneficiary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's Inkosi. Inkosi Maulawe there sharing his own story, what he is doing in the community. Quite recommendable there. Thank you so much. Now, continuing as we are going towards the end of this panel discussion, there is a question here also for the Ministry of Gender. Minister of Gender, I'm looking for the Director of Child Affairs. Do we have the Director of Child Affairs here? Thank you so much, Mr. Kalanda. Now, there is a gap between the policies that we are having as a country and implementation. What should we do to do it differently? To have results, to make a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, moderator, Your Excellency, and all distinguished guests. What do we need to do to ensure that our policies touch the ground? One good example from our ministry is on what we have done in terms of ensuring that we touch the ground. We have simplified much of the information that is there for the protection of the child through a handbook which we call Community Awareness on Child and Gender-Related Laws, which is targeted at the councils and our traditional leaders so that they are aware of the prevailing laws and what they are supposed to do to help implement government's policies. The other issue is one of the youth representatives talked about engagement. And one of the things that we have done to ensure that there is engagement with the youth is the promotion of what we are calling the Children's Parliament. As I speak, in 5 of our 28 district councils, we have children's parliaments. And also that is supported by a national children's parliament, where these issues are shared with our children and they are raising issues that we need to attend to. Finally, but not least, we need to take a similar dialogue that we are having to the community.
Beautiful.
And we would like to encourage our traditional leaders as they engage their subjects to engage on issues like child marriage, which is one of the biggest issues that we need to address as a country. If we can provide that platform through community engagements, community dialogue led by the chiefs, and involving the young people themselves, it would help us to address the issues that we are grappling with. There are issues to do with education of our girls and boys, educational support as shared by Chief Bananyambi. There's so much that we can do through these dialogues. And this is what we need to do. Otherwise, to heap everything on government. Government can do so much, but we also as citizens of this country have a role to play in addressing the issues that we are discussing here. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. That's Mr. Kalanda there from Minister of Gender. He has touched on issues to do with the roles and the responsibility that government has, and of course what as people should also have as a responsibility. Now there's a question now, a general question. Wherever you are, you can just raise your hand. This is a question for you, for anyone here, to say, what is it that we can do? Where are we missing it? Because we are talking about it. We have been talking about this, and we continue to talk about girl marriages. We continue to talk about early marriages, pregnancies, teen pregnancies. But where are we missing it? How should we do it from the general public now? There's a hand there. Let me have a microphone. Yes, one of the hands there. Sure. Make it brief and straight to the point.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Gertrude Kapiepe. I work with Malawi Sexual Reproductive Health Rights Alliance. So my comment will be based on where we are missing as a nation here in Malawi. Basically, I think we have been moving in a direction whereby we think that young people know everything, especially when it comes to sexual and reproductive health. We expect them to make informed decisions, but yet we are not providing the information to them. So when you talk about comprehensive sexuality education, it's not a matter of promoting sexual activities, but we are providing information to young people to make informed decisions about their sexuality, as well as also about their relationship. CSC talks about good relationship. It also talks about how they can prevent SGBV, issues of unsafe abortion. It talks a lot. So if we are limiting young people not to access CSC, we are more like promoting them towards unintended pregnancies, teenage pregnancies, child marriages. And also one key issue is about engagement. The Ministry of they talked about child parliamentarians. We position young people in decision-making platforms, but we don't provide necessary capacity, knowledge, and abilities. So we are more like manipulating young people, position them, and we claim that they are part and parcel of decision-making bodies, but they are not meaningfully contributing because we are not providing capacity to them. So that's where we are missing as a nation.
Thank you very much. From Gertrude there, we are missing it where we are thinking that our youths know it all and we are not engaging them enough. Thank you very much. The last hand there, let me have the man. Oh, okay, fine.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. My name is Esther Jolobala. I'm a member of Parliament for Machinga East.
Okay.
Where I'm seeing the gap is where the civil society organizations, they are working on their own, and the government also working on their own. But if we coordinate, I see there is lack of coordination. I'll give you an example. We do have an organization by the name Oxfam. I think the country director is here. They coordinate very well with some of these issues. Even they engage women parliamentarians. They have managed to do their program at an institution level to be answering some of these issues in terms of supporting women into different leadership positions. They are doing it in their own program they have at their office. Not necessarily political programs or I don't know, other program, but their own program at that institution. They are able to support school-going children, even those who dropped out from school. They are able to support them using the way they programmed their activities.
Beautiful.
So I don't see other organizations. Other organizations, even they do sideline other like elected members, even councillors or members of parliament. They say we don't do politics. Yet they are in Malawi, and we need these politicians to have more information for them to make concrete decisions. So NGOs, civil society organizations, they should do their programs answering these issues we are talking about here. Minus that, then you will be having a lot of problems, because currently, as we sit and discuss about these issues, ask the Ministry of Gender, there is no any budget allocation for these programs. So if you leave the government alone, then we will not achieve anything. I submit, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's Honorable Jolo Balatea talking about coordination between the NGOs that are working in the communities and not leaving the whole of the work to government. Thank you very much. The last one, let me have the man there. Yes, Mister, your name and the organization you're representing. The last
Thank
one,
you so much. My name is Emmanuel Jere Chamblanyina, representing a youth caucus from Parliament.
Okay.
I'm a member of Parliament from Zimba South.
Okay.
Where we are missing is that tikakamchosako mwana wankazi kukwati kumene anakwatiwa kuja tambweretsa pa skulu ngati ne constituency wanga is automatic. Tikamchosa nsikana akabwera pa skulu CDF basari imamthandiza. Koma timayiwala kuti takamchosa kwa nyamata munthu uja. Kuti nyamata amene uja titani naye. So it's like takupanga focus kwa nsikanayo tambwezera pa skulu. Zimapezeka ndi chitsanzo. Zimapezeka kuti tamchosa pa school tamchosa pa kunyumba kuja kukwati kuja tambwesa pa school kanyamata komwe kaja kama pitaso koma kamsiya ku school kuja pa njinga tikuona kuti tathandiza ndithu ife tikumulipira fees koma nyamata uja sinamthandize chilichonse so ife chimene chimapanga ife nchakuti pamene mtsikana atambwezeresa ku school nyamatayo through social welfare anzathu ave agenda tili ndi ma social welfare amene ali ma community timampanga mentor nayenso ngati ngofuna kuti abwerere pa school abwere pachani pa school koma tikangoti tangoyang'ana kwambiri kwa mtsikanayo nyamata kunsiya nyamata uja apezazo wina kusidese konkuja ndi ukamono ngasi mwana wina uja so that's why we are missing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member of Parliament from Zimba there, to say we have left the boys behind. We are only focusing on the girl. While we are empowering our girls, let's also empower the boys, because they are still there wherever you have left them. That's the message that we are getting here. The talking of collaboration with NGOs and government and the people in the communities, talking of not leaving our boys behind. That's what we are learning in here. That's where we are missing. And I hope you are here and you are listening. You are going out there to work on some of the gaps that we have. Thank you so much. Let's conclude this discussion. It's really a very healthy discussion. I'm really loving it. But we have to conclude. Let me invite the Honorable Minister, Honorable Chimwendo Banda. Can you conclude this discussion? You being a youth minister, what are you doing? What should we do moving forward?
Your Excellency, the First Lady, thank you for accepting to be the guest of honor this morning. Honorable Minister of Gender, Honorable Patricia Kariati, and all distinguished guests present here, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have quite a number of issues on the table, and as the Master of Ceremony said, I think it's getting interesting, but time could be of limit. Where we are now, maybe the focus should be, what do we do? We have spoken so much, and sitting here, we have gurus, people that have even written books are here about this. But what is it that we are not doing well, and what is it that we must do well? I'll start from Parliament. As a member of Parliament myself, and I want to agree with members of Parliament that have spoken here, the legal instruments are there. We've done the laws. The laws, actually Malawi can be highlighted as one of the best countries with very good laws when it comes to protecting a girl child. The Honorable Minister of Gender seated here, we all know her. She's an icon on that. And she has actually worked very hard to make sure that with civil society organizations. Parliament has done it, but the actual rollout or the trickle-down effects out there are the ones that are missing. Bringing back a girl child in school is quite commendable, but keeping that girl child, it's a big challenge. I will start from what government is doing and what NGOs and civil society can emulate. His Excellency's government, looking at this issue and the bigger challenge, have worked with donors, and we are now constructing over 10,900 classroom blocks across the country. This is an issue to do with access. And access is very important, because we cannot talk about girls going to school and they still continue to sit under the floor, still sit under the trees, come lanes, and they drop out because of so many challenges that they face. So we need to make sure that the teacher preparation, for instance, when it comes to quality, is also looked at. So government is also trying to do a lot in terms of enrollment. That's a bigger issue. But having said that, we're talking more about young people in schools. We're talking more about young people in colleges. If you talk about what is being taught here about life skills, who is teaching these young other people who are not in schools? Talk about population. These are the gaps that are there. And as government and as a Minister of Youth, we are looking at young people across the country. I know we must prioritize those that are in schools, bring back those that must go back to school, but not everyone can go back to school. And this is a reality, whether we want it or not. There are others that cannot go to school. So what is it that we must do? So we must tailor-made programs and initiatives that reaches out to all young people. And the wording young people means everybody. And I like what the Honorable Chambranyina Jera said. We don't need to leave the young boy behind. But these young boys, if they are just sitting without doing anything else, it means that they would think that the only thing that they can do is to go into marriage. They also need to be busy. And as government, we're introducing quite a number of initiatives on the ground. The National Youth Service, which we have introduced to make sure that young people across are busy, because it's only busy people that actually are not going to be too much fertile. I have to be very honest here. These young girls we're protecting, if they don't remain in school, and if they're not busy with the school, then we can as well forget about early marriages, early pregnancies. We must make our young people busy. Both girls and our boys and our young people. That will be complementing the efforts. Great. But I want to emphasize on tailor-made projects or programs, because we are very good at copying what is working maybe in other countries other than what must work in our own country, or maybe learning from fellow countries. Countries like Malawi, how have they done it? Like Rwanda, what have they done? We are talking about women here, 21% in parliament representation. Rwanda has done more than that. What is it that we are doing? And you see 2024, 2025, you see a lot of women groups coming up because there's a funding somewhere else to do campaign for women. Right now, they all have disappeared. They only come 6 months before the campaign, and will come back after elections to complain about. I don't want to be a professor or a prophet of doom. Maybe it will be 28% or so. But with what is happening now, we cannot talk about 50-50. That may not be possible. Right. But because of time, moderator, I wanted to assure the gathering here that His Excellency's government is committed. The CDF that the honourable members have spoken about, it now has been raised to 100 million. But within the CDF, deliberate efforts and registration has been made to make sure that some chunk of money goes to bursaries, especially for young girls. So each and every young girl out there, not going to private secondary schools, not going to private colleges, but those that are supposed to go to public secondary school, and those that are supposed to go to public university or colleges owned by government are supposed to be assisted. And government has also increased the number of young people to access loans. We had 14,000 young people accessing loans at university level. We have increased that to 22,000 now, to make sure that a lot of young people, even at college and secondary school, at college level, are able to access these loans. And government has also increased the amount of student welfare from 200,000 to 350,000. Because if you go out there, like go at Chanko, go at Bunda, you find a lot of young girls staying around the campuses. And because of welfare issues, these young women are affected. Most of them drop out because they end up indulging themselves in bad manners because the welfare is not okay. I'm not saying that we have addressed it fully, but we are looking at it and prioritizing it. Both those that are in school and those that are out of school. The appeal from the ministry is to ask civil society organization, as Honorable Esther Joroba has said, that we should work in coordination, we should work together, we should not work in isolation, because some NGOs, some civil society organizations, they are very good at doing their own thing, and we need to do that. For AFIDEP, we know that research will not end up in this boardroom. This research has to go out and reach out there. For our Mfumu, Bwana Nyambi, Kumangochi, Kumachinga, Kuzomba, she is a star, yes, but she is a star in our own community. Yes. What about the whole Machinga? What about the whole Mangochi? So evidence is minane na Mfumus. Tisbange brigade kwina kuli konse. Chifukwa cha nthawi tinali ndi zambiri zoti tiyankhule kwa maziko makwambiri.
Tathokoza ziko mukwambiri. yavutadi ndi nthawi koma naona ndithu manja analipobe ndithu kuti ayankhule on matters that are really important to talk about. Our girls out there, empowering them. Let them not go for sex, early sex, okay. Then, okay, issues of sexuality education should be there. That's what we are talking about here. Continuing with the program, I would also love to thank you for taking part in this panel discussion. Ndikuthokozeni kuti munatenga nawo gawo pa zokambirana zimenezi. Nthawi ndimene yachita njeru zokambirana zikuoneka kuti ndi zambiri koma tikuyenera kuti timalizire pamenepa. Thank you so much, Dr. Ngwale. Thank you there. Representing Parliament, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Dr. Kamurangera, representing CSOs. Thank you very much, Michelle, representing the youth. Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again. Mfumu Bwana Nyambi takuthokozani zikomo kwambiri. And thank you, Dr. Matilda, tathokozanso kwambiri, representing the religious leaders. Thank you so much as we go and take our seats. And thank you very much also from the general public here for taking part in this panel discussion. And we have really loved to have all those issues that you were presenting here, looking at the gaps that we have as a country and what we need to do in making sure that we empower our women, our girls to remain in school and make better decisions for their lives. Once again, thank you very much. I've been Chimwemwe Kujaliwa, and let me call upon my colleague here, Job Frank Chakadza, to continue with the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chimwemwe, for that panel discussion. We are moving on, and as you can see, the stage is being cleared for something very exciting. We would like to watch a quick performance of Chisamba from a group that's going to entertain us. May I invite them to come forward? Ajisamba tabanu sokoro kuti mutipatsire they say all work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy, and we don't want to be dull here. So I will invite them to entertain us to a very short performance before I invite the Honorable Minister of Gender to come and address us, but also to invite our guest of honor to speak to us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the Chisamba dancers. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Lots of energy there. Pajama di tupisile mena mnuage. I don't know how you say it in English. When you look at the size of the bodies and how they're shaking them, so much energy, very impressive indeed. Thank you so much for that performance. We're moving on. Our guest of honor, allow me now to invite Honorable Patricia Kaliati, Minister of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, to come forward and address us, but also to invite you to address us this morning. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Malawi, Madam Monica Chakwera, Honorable Minister of Youth, Honorable Chimwendo Banda, the PS in the Minister of Gender for Administration and Finance, Madam Tambala, the UNFPA in charge, Madam Miranda, Dr. Zulu, the country director for AFDEP, the Plan Malawi country director, we have also Oxfam country director, the board chairperson, Professor Dodo, the director of child affairs in the Ministry of Gender, Mr. Kalanda, and also one of the directors in the Ministry of Education, Reverend Dr. Matabwa, the Secretary General of the Malawi Assemblies of God, Senior Chief Bwananyambi, Inkosi Maulao, the National Plan Commission, Madam Joanning, the leader of the House, who is also leading our members of parliament. We have Dr. Ngwale, we have Honorable Jolbara, Honorable Malonde Lababa, we have Honorable Zulu and Honorable Zulu Mrs. We have Honorable Brekanyama, Honorable Chambulanyina, we have Honorable Kayembe, and I'm sure, and even those who are willing to be members of parliament, you are welcome. The Professor Nyowan, indeed, I said that the first test of sex is at 17 or 18. Is it a South African research in Malawi? But I'm sure even when you go to the hospitals, you find that those even at 10 years, they're having children in the hospital. Oh, my dear sister, Honorable, I've seen you, ma'am. My duty, the humble responsibility this morning is to ask the First Lady to speak to us. But before I do that, allow me just to say one or two things. One, to thank you, Dr. Zulu, for coming up with this high-level discussions, but also to thank Your Excellency, the First Lady, for your commitment. You are a mother. It was last week. We were also at Golden Peacock. Then it was also this Monday, we were at your house. All these issues to do with the girl-child education, ending early marriages, economic empowerment of women, the infertility, which are the cause of also gender-based violence, where women are also suffering. We've been engaging, and the program which you've started, Your Excellency, cannot go without even patting you at your back, where we need to engage the chiefs, the custodians of the subjects who are suffering in the rural areas, and those who are also the perpetrators and the victims. All these are in the hands. We have also Honorable Chihana, we thank you very much, who are in the hands of our chiefs that they need to support them and protect them. The faith organization whom we've also engaged here in the panel discussion to see what is it that they're doing. We have a lot, and we're having a lot of challenges, Your Excellency. And your commitment, I'm sure we are taking the right direction in the implementation of the legislations which Dr. Ngwara has said. The leader of the House, yes, indeed, you are there sitting in as a Minister of Youth, but we salute you very much for your leadership in the House, whom we've read a number of members of parliament being here, and through you, would like to thank the members of parliament for the legislations which they've passed. And what the First Lady is doing is to implement the legislations. We have the child care protection. We have the gender-based violence of 2006, the child care protection of 2010. We are having the wills and inheritance of 2011, where our mothers are suffering and ending up having our children in early marriages because some of the properties are not even given to the mothers. And all these, what you're looking forward, Your Excellency, to coordinate, collaborate, and work together to see to it that the legislators who are coming in with a number of legislations, the enforcers, the police, the judiciary, they've got to work hand to hand. You coming in as also implementing some of these legislations, but if you're not going to coordinate with the enforcers, if you're not going to coordinate with the judiciary, then we'll be doing nothing because we have a number of perpetrators. Yes, they tend to know what is it that we are doing, but they leave a blind eye, not even supporting us. Your Excellency, we are having the Marriage, Divorce and Family Elections of 2015. We have the Gender Equality of 2013. And through Your Excellency, take our Thanksgiving, Kalula Natuma Njov, Karitoko Zeren kwa President. In the history of Malawi, we are now really implementing the Gender Equality of 2013 now. And you can bear with me, Your Excellency, from 2013, we have a number of cabinet ministers at 4160 now in the implementation of 4060. But also you managed to say we need to have a deliberate policy even in the procurement that we need to have also women. We're having a number of women in the foreign missions. We have a number of women in the PSs and the directors. If at all we are lagging behind, it might be now in the members of parliament. And I'm sure what the Minister of Minister of Youth has said, who is our leader, maybe it's going to help us championing the participation of women in parliament as we will be going into the 229 membership of members of parliament to come 2025. That if you can even have 100 of those women, the better. Because as we be saying that a number of perpetrators are men in the fight against the, child marriages, but also we are as women the perpetrators of child marriages in our own localities where we are coming from. So if we are to have a number of women decision making, it might also take us a long way. It might also take us a step forward or a step ahead in ending child marriages in the country. Your Excellency, the commitment which you have and the meeting which you're having today is to make sure that the 37.7% of teen pregnancies and the early marriages which you are talking about, we might reduce them. And the one way of reducing these early marriages and early pregnancies is this one of the meetings which you are having today. But also, we have a number of problems which we are experiencing as a Minister of Gender. What we've done now, we are allocating the social welfare, not to be at a district, but they'll be in the localities. So that what some of the issues which Dr. Ngwari has said, though we believe in that we cannot just pass legislations in Parliament and leave them somebody to implement, and also if we are the ones who are supposed to implement them. Despite that, people will be saying, oh, you are doing politics. Yes, politics, but we are looking forward to see that a number of people in our constituencies are well educated. And we talk about early marriages, reducing early marriages. We know that when people go into marriages, at 18 beyond, after even in universities, they're going to make strong marriages. Your Excellency, strong marriages make strong economies. We are having problems because our children are going into early marriages, and a lot of challenges, poverty levels, illiteracy level, which professors highlight said, the low participation of women, despite having all this, the village banks, all the economic empowerment programs under community development, despite having all those, the cooperatives, which after graduating, they go into the cooperatives doing business. But if we are not even looking into that our children should go into marriages when they're strong enough and they're big enough. And also strong marriages, they can even reduce emotions, reduce the psychosocial problems, the social problems. The strong marriages also bring in the confidence that you are married. Because some of these small marriages, even if you say, are you married or not, they're even shy to introduce themselves. So we are looking forward to meet the 2030 agenda through the strong marriages, which are going to trickle down into the strong economy. We are looking into meeting the 2063 vision of the Malawi government through the marriages which we want to make them strong, not the weakened marriages which are talking about the early marriages or the early pregnancies. Indeed, our Mr. Honorable Chambulanina said, we should not leave a stone unturned as to what even His Excellency, the State President, keeps saying that we don't leave anyone behind, i.e. not leaving anyone behind like the men. The inferiority complex which is happening these days, whereby men, they keep introducing themselves, I'm the man in the house, I'm the man in the house, because some of these men, we left them behind, we didn't even take them on board as we are taking our children on board in terms of education. But also we are looking forward to see all those who are well educated not even to be insulting, intimidating their wives. And some of these who are, Your Excellency, some of the men who are harassing, insulting the women, you find that they're having also their papers. They're having professors, doctors, and they'll be moving door to door now, taking out these certificates if you continuously inserting women. Because there's no way that we go to school and we come and insert our women. And we keep saying education is so paramount and it's an automatic economic empowerment of our people. So there's no way that men, well-educated, and we slap our wives. Well-educated men, we insert our women. Well-educated men, we impregnate our toddlers and go into early marriages because of these well-educated men. No way. We need to lead by example, and we need to maintain our integrity as Malawian men as well as Malawian women. As I'm concluding, Your Excellency, yes, indeed, we have also women who are so harassing men. But I don't dwell much on that because men are the ones who are proposing these women. How do you propose? How can you come to the minister and say, I've been harassed? Oh, we are also going through hell. These women are so harsh. What made you to marry that woman out of all the better women out there? So that's your own man-made problem that you are marrying women who are giving you problems. Look into that. Dr. Matabwa, help us preaching to the men that they've got to be in their news and marry better wives so that they cannot be saying we're having problems. But also, they should not be educating women to be harsh as well. Because when you keep slapping women, insulting women, you are just training them who you want them to be. So if you start with loving them, they'll continuously loving you, and you're going to have a better family and make the foundation better. We don't want to experience what Sarah, what Eve experienced as a gatekeeper, that he left the door open, and the chief executive, who was Adam, was there looking at that without even closing the door. So the chief executives with the gatekeepers, whom in the Bible women are called, is it Ezra? Who are the gatekeepers. So don't allow the snake go into the house, and at the end of the day we'll be saying it's the woman who made us sin. If the woman was making you sin and opening the door, where were you? Why didn't you close the door? Your Excellency, I would like to salute you very much. On behalf of all the Malawian women and the Malawian girls whom we were fighting for their education and the economic empowerment of the mothers, I would like to thank you very much. Our partners, UNFPA, Plan Malawi, Oxfam, UN Women, and all the CSOs, Dr. Kagumogela, please help us. We have a number of them. The chief here cannot even come here and worry about resources, yet we have 66 NGOs in Mangochi. We need to coordinate. We need to have the chairperson of all the NGOs. What is it that we have our programs? What are our priorities at a district level? What is it that we want? And you can even set aside to say our priority is a girl child education. Or let the resources for these NGOs, 66, fund this basket for education of a girl child. And the moment we do that, we're not going to leave even a boy child, whoever is going to be selected. As to what even government, we're having a lot which we are doing. We have the student loan. Yes, we cannot even do that for for diploma course, but now these NGOs are supposed to support us. And I'm happy that now we are asking the First Lady to be leading, and we cannot ask the First Lady leading without resources. Dr. Zulu, Madam UNFP in charge, Plan Malawi, Oxfam, fund, as we are coordinating, we are looking forward for resources. We cannot even move forward without even empowering the First Lady's office with resources in the economic empowerment of our women, as well as in the support of the girl child education, ending child marriages. When we be knocking to your door, we'll be saying we were together with the First Lady. All these thousands and thousands of girls and boys being selected to secondary school, we don't want to see anyone remaining behind without even attending education because they don't have resources, and yet you are here. It is indeed my humble responsibility, Your Excellency, to invite you to address the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of the Republic of Malawi, Madam Monica Chakwera. Your Excellency, ma'am.
zikomo kwambiri tathokoza zikomo. Honorable Patricia Kaliati, Minister of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare. Honorable Richard Chimwendo Banda, Minister of Youth and Sports. Professor Francis Dodo, Board Chair of African Institute for Development Policy, and all the AFDE board members here present. Dr. Elia Zulu, Executive Director of African Institute for Development Policy. Professor Nyoyani Madisi, am I right? I think, is it? Sorry? Nyovani, okay. I think, okay. Sorry. Professor Nyovani Madisi, Country Director of African Institute for Development Policy, and all AFDE officials here present. Ms. Miranda Tabfo, Acting Country Representative of United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA. All the panelists that were here in front today, all the government officials here present, Reverend Matilda Mataba, the officiating clergy, and all the religious leaders here present. Sorry. Our traditional chief that was sitting here, and all the other traditional chiefs here present. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored to be here today and very excited actually that I'm part of this discussion today. When we went through all those figures that our esteemed madam was presenting, I don't know if people at my office are in here, I'm sure they were also very excited with me because I like statistics. My mind retains what statistics are saying and the research are saying. So I'm very glad that I'm part of this audience today. Actually, I should say I've learned quite a lot. I've learned a lot. I know we have a long way to go, but we'll soldier on. We'll soldier on until we have good statistics. Next time we meet, I'm hoping those figures will move the right direction. So investing in Malawi's adolescent and youth, both boys and girls, is very crucial toward achieving Malawi 2063, like she explained. I think many presenters have already talked about that. I don't need to go on and on about it, but we need to look at the youth. Because if we do that, if we can influence the youth, come 10, 20 years, we'll have very good statistics. I will even tell her, why don't you make me present these ones? Because I'll be so happy to present them. So, yeah, we have to make deliberate efforts. Pachicho atimati mwadaladala, right? Mwadaladala. Achifi ajali mwadaladala, eti? Mwadaladala. Tipange kuti zinthu zitani zisinthe. Must make deliberate efforts to invest in girls and boys, in young women, to address the historical gender disparities that have existed for generations. So they have existed for generations. It will not happen in one day, but definitely if we make efforts, things will change. I usually give an example of our chief, the chiefs are very important. I think I said it last week when we were at Pico, but I'm going to say it again. I come from Rumpi district, and our Chief Chikura Maembe in the 1950s made a declaration that every boy and girl should go to school. There should be no boy or girl not going to school in the 1950s. I think my statistic friend here can agree with me that Rumpi was #1 on literacy, right? For quite a long time. And I think the origin is that. So can I encourage afumu mugwira ntchito yabwino. Mwina zostatira zake simuziona panopa, koma kutsogoloko muzaziona. Ife tinakula moti anthu amakonda skulu. Aliyense panalibe mudzi umene samatumiza nawo ku skulu, aliyense amatumiza. Sitimadziwa chifukwa chani, koma panopa pamene ndimaona kuti it must be chifukwa chi amfumu anapereka lamulo. Amfumu athu uko achife analankhula ababa pitirizani ntchito yabwino jamukugwira. Mwina marizatso simuwaona lero olo chaka chamawa, koma definitely marizatso atani abwera ine ndine mboni. Chifukwa choti amfumu anayika degree imeneyo kuti anthu azipita ku school. Amayi anga analiso phunzirako pang'ono, not kwambiri, koma she could read and write. And to her, school was very, very important. Mwana asajombe ku skulu, tipite ku skulu. Siku lilonse ineyo ndinali mtsikana amongst the boys, ndinyamule chakudya choti ana tonse tikatani tikadye ku skulu kuja. It's only now that I learned that boys and girls drop out of school because they are hungry, because they don't have food. So it means the mothers are not preparing food for the children when they go to school. Then I realized, oh, it was that important. That's why we all got our education. Because my mom would give us food every day, every day. So I'm going around, wherever I find an opportunity, I'm telling mothers, hey, ana osa asiya kupita kuskulu opanda chakudya, apaseni chakudya chichonse. Kumidzi inena kulya kumudzi. Olo chimanga chokazinga nchakudya. Bora akamwere madzete akaphunzira. Ndekuti panopa ife titangwanike ndi kukamba nkhani imeneyi kuti aliyense adziwe kufunika kwake kwa ana kuti aphunzire. Ndaphunziranso posachedwa poyamba sindimadziwa kuti first 1000 days ya ana ndiyo kufunika kwambiri. Imati miyezi itatu somewhere zaka zitatu kana. Ndizofunika kwambiri mwana sukulu. Ndiye kuti mthandize pamene kuti aphunzireko, ndiye kuti kutsogoloko akakumana ndi zikulu akadusa bwinobwino chifukwa choti wayamba ali wang'ono. Ayambira ali wang'ono, ndiye kuti ntchito imene mugwira mfumu, ayi ndikutamandeni amfumu kuno mugwira ntchito yabwino. Kalimbikitseni azimayi makomomo aziwathandiza ana kuti aphunzire. Chifukwa mwana, I remember one of my siblings didn't like school that much. But my father would beat him. Amasunga chiuje nchintengo choncho nyumba. Akamva kuti sana apite ku sukulu lero. Anaphunzira pano ndophunzira. So makolo tili ndi ntchito yambiri, mafumu zikoma kwambiri kuti mukulimbikira ndi mutithandiza. Mwina zaka 10, mwina ndachulukisaso 10. Adzakuwuzani kumuzi kwanu kuja zimene mukupanga panopo kuti adzathandiza mwakuti adzabwera amayi awo kuzafusafusa kumene kuja. Kuzani kuti zimene mumapanga zathandiza apa mwakuti. So mugwira ntchito yabwino pitirizani ndithu. We must ensure that women and girls have the same access to healthcare, education, formal employment, entrepreneurship, and leadership roles as boys and men do. Tukuchokera tradition yoti timaika amuna pasogolo makamaka kacha ya kwatu. amuna amakhala patsogolo azimayi pambuyo. Koma mwadaladala, sitatero mwadaladala, right? Deliberately, atsogoleri tonse. We should be in front, promoting equal rights for both boys and girls. Okay, right now maybe we are looking very much at the girl, which is not bad. It's a good idea, because for me, I think, if the girl says, no, I'm not going to participate in this, will it happen? I don't think so. Unless the forced type of stuff, which the chiefs are working on. But a normal sexual relationship, the girl has to say yes. If the girl doesn't say yes, it will not happen. So maybe that's why for me, I look at girls more than I look at boys. But we should look at both of them, of course. And substantial investment need to be made in family planning, child survival, education, skills development, job creation, and governance. Our ministers already explained all that, how as government they're looking at that. The more educated and skilled women become, the greater the economic productivity and improved well-being of all Malawians. Yeah? She has already explained all that. So I'm also ambassador for early childhood development. I'm going there with full force because statistics say if a child goes through early childhood development school, they don't drop out in primary, because our statistics, like she's already said, dropout in primary school are just too high. We used to pay fees in primary school. Government policy said, okay, let's remove the fees. Enrollment went high, but by standard 3, 4, 5, and they haven't learned much by that time, at least maybe standard 8. So for me, I'm like, let's think outside the box. I don't know how we can do it, but maybe, because when I went for a function at early childhood development, they were showing me they have small tablets where they put all the curriculum for the early childhood development education. So the teachers have a tablet, which doesn't need electricity, doesn't need what you can use it. They have the programs there. I was thinking, thinking outside the box. Can we have a program that would teach people how to read and write? Tima tablet. And my grandchildren are the ones who come on my phone and say, oh, Grandma, you should have done this. I don't get it, but they do. So if we had those programs in place, I don't know how. I was just thinking the other day, if we had this program, I'm sure literacy statistics would improve in our villages, especially in the villages. I think the cities are okay, I don't know, but I think the cities are okay, but in the villages, I think the tablets would go a long way, but I don't know how that would happen, but I would really, really like that to go on. So like we have already been talking about, the challenges include high education dropout that we were talking about. The dropout rates are too high. We need to look at that. The chiefs will help us a lot. Like I gave an example in my district. Inadequate sanitation facilities for adolescent girls, especially in the village. Again, my point of view usually comes from the village, because then I understand how things are there. So we need to look at that. Low access to reproductive health information and services. Of course, some people come up with solutions, but for me, those are temporary solutions. I am a faith-based person. For me, abstinence until 18 years, because by then, the body is ready to do childbearing or all of that stuff. How do we do that? we have to work together, our chiefs, our religious leaders, for girls to abstain until 18. I'm not putting a law, but I'm saying that's the best. On health issues, it's the best. On education, it's the best. Even on marriage, because when you're 18, your mind is well developed. You know, I think this guy, I think it calm, you know. Chief, ana ajatize alimpikisa, osalowa mzinthu zakula akulu, sex ndi zinthu zakula akulu. Sichonje. Sizawa anayi. So, langa sitinanena kuti wankulu ndi 18 years. Muze auza kuti mpaka mfike 18, osapanga zimenezo zakula akulu. Chifukwa zimabweresa mavuto ambiri, chifukwa pamene popo akafika 18 ndiye kuti thupi lake latani mulungu walikonza kuti lili ready, so pano ukapanga zimenezo ndi results yake azopanga zimenezo zonse thupi litani livomera lichitaso bwinobwino. Akakhala kuti sanafike zaka zimenezo atiuza pa MP kuti ana ikalamulo kuti zaka 18 ndiye kuti anthu anayiona nkhani ngona kuti zaka 18 ndiye zachani zoyenera kuti mwana akhale ndi mimba abereke. Kumbuyo kwa azimayi adzukuluka yana muzika auza afike kaye zaka 18 osalowa zimene ngati nyamata kumuza kuti mwa kuti azimuza kuti choka uko ine ndifuna ndilani ndiphunzire, ndifuna thupi langa lirani likhwime, tiyeni tikapereke mauthenga amene wana sitikhaso ni mavuto amene tikhala nawo apapa ya. So underage marriages, I know we are talking about poverty and what, no, but we need to, they increase poverty actually, I think. If they get married before 18, you know, with all those happening, and you talk about, okay, medication that can help them not have children every year, they will also give them complications. We know that. The health people are here to help us, right? Contraceptives have got other problems. Whatever. So it's better. I tell them I'm the good example. I got married at 24. My body was very, very ready. And I could have had 10 children if I wanted to. We know source of food. Chifukani machita space so 4 years. 4 years, that's why I have 4, but I decided I will have 4 children. You can have as many children as you want if you get married after 18. Let's talk to the girls. Like she was saying, maybe problem that we have, a minister educating the small girls, telling them they should abstain. The best is to abstain. Then you don't give yourself diseases and complications in the body. You live until when God wants you to have children and you have a healthy life. So lack of role models for girls and young women, I'm very happy that some people are going that route of role modeling. I think that helps a lot, actually. It helps a lot. We can prevent early childhood marriages and stuff when we role model. Like this girl, I salute her, the one that came here. I was like, I don't know if I was in her situation, if I would have done that. I don't know. But if she goes out and tells other people, they can do even better in protecting themselves. Because sometimes I think the girls feel helpless. So we need role models. High levels of gender-based violence and harmful cultural beliefs and practices that expose girls and young women to unsafe sex and exploitation. Those our chief are helping us. Our chief Amina Kala Tikana Pabanja Chani. Of course, there are also other complications, but I'm sure we can come up with helpful ways of doing that and then go the right direction. I think we are going the right direction, yeah? We are, but we just need to increase our velocity. Tionjeze moto eti kuti ntchito imeneyi igwirike msanga. Let us acknowledge as a nation that early inception of childbearing is contributing to rapid population growth, like it's already been explained, but we can prevent that. As I was saying, most of the children, I don't know the statistics, that are influencing the numbers that we're talking about is from those young children under 18. If we can take out that, I'm sure our population growth will be just the right one for the country. But now it's influenced by all these other factors. So I know we are all crying for Malawi, that it should be healthier. We should have more skilled people, empowered young men and girls. And we need that to realize what we are talking about, Malawi 2063. And we are saying we should have an inclusively worthy and safe, reliant nation. It will take all of us to working together. So I'm so happy that today we are all like looking at this issue together and we can go one direction. I think if we go one direction, we will get much better results. So let me thank the Ministries of Education, Youth, Health, Gender, Labor, and NGOs. I know we have so many NGOs, like you say. Maybe we need to coordinate better as NGOs. I don't know how. I think you may have other ideas. How can we work together as NGO to increase our impact in the communities? Because I think sometimes, I don't know, I've worked in NGOs before this position, and right now I'm working with NGOs, but maybe we can coordinate better. Like you said, I think we can coordinate better so that our impact is much more pronounced than it is being pronounced at the moment. Let me, of course, I forgot traditional leaders. What should I say? Amene akugwira ntchito yambiri apa ine mmene ndikuonera ndi machifi athu kumudzi chifukwa amadziwa anthu awo eti chifukwa even me ndikulipira fees ena sindikuwadziwa kumene uchokera kazi kutani koma awawo ali pa ground, mafumu athu ali pa ground. Achifi uko yewe chomene yewo nkapulika speech yawo nyengo nyanga nayo yoya na vichi na nkhongono kuti nadi apa munthu wakuchita chapa wakuyoya wanthu akuchita chapa wakupulika ntchito mukuyigwira yewo taonga. Religious leaders, continue doing what you are doing. It will take every one of us doing their bit for us to be able to move from where we are now to a better Malawi. The statistics are saying we are improving in this way, we are doing that. We want to improve even more, but we can only do that if we do it together. So there is a lot to celebrate about or to build upon. We should acknowledge that these efforts are inadequate and often fragmented, like we've already said. So I think we are already realizing that. I don't know what you come up next on where we can concretize all what we are talking about and then move one direction. It is imperative to look at how best to ensure our efforts are sustainable and our investments in the gender dividend response do not go to the waste, to be wasted, to waste. I desire to see a day when early marriages and harmful traditional practices affecting women and girls to early and unwanted pregnancies, early childbearing, gender-based violence, and dropping out of school are addressed once and for all. They have reduced, maybe even completely. I'm looking forward to that day. I am sure you are all looking forward to that day. And if we start with the young ones, by the time the young ones are the age that is managing stuff, I think we will have better stories to tell. Like I was saying, in the 1950s, when our chief was making that decree, not many people knew how to read and write. But when I was growing up, the statistics had already changed. And now, we are in the front. I know it's like we are going a little bit down, but if you can't read and write, it's not a good thing. Ngati sikukutha kuwerenga olo kulemba anthu amakuseka kumuzi kwathu amakuseka sukulu mjana bwere kalekale mpaka lero simudziwa kulemba ndi kuwerenga chifukwa choti chani nthawi ina yake kumbuyoko amfumu ananena kuti aliyense azipita ku sukulu ndiye zinatheka ndithu izi tikupanga panopo zithekaso ndithu tiyeni tingogwirana manja kuti zonse zitheke. Special thanks go to the cabinet ministers present here. Akweni, ntchito mumayigwira eti. Thank you, Africa Institute for Development Policy, for continuing the conversation on adolescent girls and young women and inviting me to participate in this dialogue. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our guest of honor, for your remarks today. We are shortly going to have a vote of thanks by Professor Francis Dodo. Allow me, though, to announce that we will have a group photo soon after the vote of thanks, and I would like the following individuals to prepare because they're going to be the ones to take the picture with our guest of honor this morning. Minister of Gender, Minister of Youth, Professor Dodo, Professor Chiota, Dr. Yazumeye, Mrs. Sarah Templehoff, Dr. Elia Zulu, Professor Nyovani Madise, Ms. Miranda Tabifor, Ms. Leti Chiwara, Ms. Jennifer Mjueni, Dr. Matthews Ngwale, Michelle Makina, Senior Chief Bwana Nyambi, Dr. Limbikani Kamlongera, and Dr. Matilda Matabwa. I will call you forward when the time for the group photograph comes. But for now, our guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to invite Professor Dodo, the board chair of AFIDEP, to come forward and give us a vote of thanks. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Madam Monica Chakwera, First Lady of the Republic,
of Malawi. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to stand on the protocols that have preceded me. Good afternoon. I must confess what a great pleasure it has been, personally, to have had the honor of being part of this event. On behalf of my colleagues on the AFIDEP board and our colleagues at UNFPA and at UN Women, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Her Excellency Madam Monica Chakwera, First Lady of the Republic of Malawi, for gracing this event so wonderfully with your presence. Thank you, Madam. Excellency, your demonstrated commitment to uplifting the well-being of girls and young women is admirable. It's inspiring, and it's worthy of emulation by all of us. Your call to action should be heeded by all of us in this room and those who have watched the dialogue on TV or via the internet, because it is a very timely imperative. It will undoubtedly challenge countless Malawians to join hands with you as champions for making the girl child and young woman count in shaping Malawi's development agenda. If I may throw in a couple of observations myself. It was very attractive to see Professor Madise suggesting how much financial benefit would derive from equality between women and men, between boys and girls. But I'd like to go forward and make us recognize that the benefit is even greater. The social benefits in terms of what happens with violence, what happens with crime, what happens with health, and so on and so forth, cannot be calculated. And so that should motivate us to even further adhere to this. It is also very, for me, attractive that we recognize the equality of opportunity that this whole endeavor is about. It is not one where anybody should be thinking about whether we allow people to do this or not. It is a fundamental right that we are equal, and so the benefits that should be accorded to us, men and women, boys and girls, should be the same. And I think that is a way that we should sort of approach this agenda. I would also like to then thank the cabinet ministers who have been with us to show their support and their commitment to the empowerment of girls and young women for accelerating attainment of Malawi's Vision 2063. We do not at all take for granted your decision to prioritize this event, because we all know how inordinately busy your schedules are. As well, our sincere thanks go to members of Parliament, both the current and aspiring ones, and the heads of the various government ministries and departments. We thank members of the Diplomatic Corps, UN agencies, international, national, and grassroots NGOs, and academic institutions also, for attending this event. We're extremely grateful to the traditional chiefs and religious leaders, our youth leaders, and indeed, all the young people here. Also to the members of the press, and every single one of you for attending this event. At the risk of advertising my conflict as a board member of AFIDEP, I would like to take advantage of this perch that I have for a few more seconds to, on behalf of the AFIDEP Board of Directors, thank the government of Malawi profusely, immensely, for hosting our offices and the AFIDEP headquarters in Lilongwe. The provision of this remarkable support to what is a Pan-African Research and Policy Institute, AFIDEP, symbolizes the Malawi government's commitment to putting evidence at the center of its development efforts. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to publicly reaffirm AFIDEP's commitment to supporting the various arms of Malawi's government so as to make evidence count in transforming the lives of all Malawians. This dialogue has been opportunely timely, also since it is the month of October, the one that we globally underscore the prioritization of the well-being of the girl child in development efforts. The panel discussion and plenary have appropriately highlighted the strides the government and stakeholders have made over the years, the remaining gaps, and the proposed solutions to the challenges that have emanated. Excellency, you have also clarified how much more productive and equitable Malawi's economy could become if gender gaps in health, education, leadership, and the labor market are closed. Simply put, empowering women and girls constitutes a prerequisite for achieving Malawi 2063. The success of this dialogue will be measured by what change will have been stimulated by the discussion some 3, 6, or 12 months from now, and not simply from the fact that we have met here today. AFIDEP, UNFPA, UN Women are all committed to supporting the ministries of gender, health, education, labor, and youth, as well as the other stakeholders to walk the talk in operationalizing the policy and program actions discussed in today's dialogue. And hopefully we can do it through integrated approaches. In closing, I would like us once again to thank Her Excellency, the First Lady, and all of you who have taken time to be with us today. You have all helped to make this event a grand success. Ziko Mokwambiri, or as we say in Ghana, where I come from, Yedamu Asipa. God bless you all.
We have we have prepared a small gift for you, Your Excellency, and I will invite you to stand and receive the present that has been prepared for you. Thank you very much. We can go and resume our seats. May I invite that the chair be brought forward so that the First Lady can take a group photo with a few of the dignitaries that are here. May I invite the following people to come forward and stand behind the chair that the First Lady is going to sit on. Minister of Gender, Minister of Youth, Professor Dodo, Professor Chiota, Dr. Ye, Mrs. Templehoff, Dr. Zulu, and Ms. Tabifor. If you can kindly come forward and stand behind that chair. Thank you, Your Excellency. You can now go and join the group photo. Thank you. There's a free seat in front. There's a free seat in front. I'll invite the photographers to make sure that the people are properly arranged. Please make sure that the picture is looking properly centrally positioned. Thank you very much. The rest of us can go. I'll invite the First Lady to stay on stage as I invite Professor Madise, Ms. Letchwara, Ms. Jennifer Mjueni, Dr. Ngwale, Michelle Makina, Senior Chief Bwana Nyambi, Dr. Kamlongera, and Dr. Matabwa to come forward and join in the group photo. But the rest of us can go and resume our seats. Thank you. Veterans Dance Troupe, I don't know if they are still around. I would like to ask them to prepare because they'll be performing while we are leaving this room. Veterans Dance Troupe. Thank you. I believe we have now finished taking the pictures. Thank you so much. We can all go and take our seats as we prepare to sing the Malawi National Anthem. Let's all go and take our seats. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This marks the end of the public policy dialogue on harnessing the gender dividend to achieve Malawi Vision 2063. As we are about to leave, may I invite all of us to rise on our feet and sing the Malawi National Anthem. Let's all stand, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, you are now free to take your leave, and the rest of us are going to follow. We are invited to lunch. As we leave this room, please collect a meal coupon on your way out. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending this very important public policy dialogue. I wish you a wonderful day as you go about the rest of the day. Thank you so much and goodbye.